So in this video, we're going to be setting up email alerts that include CloudWatch log entries that match particular filters that we're going to build. And we're also starting everything from scratch. So we assume you don't have any logs just yet on CloudWatch Logs. If you do, you can skip over to the 6-minute mark. But for now, we'll just go ahead and install the AWS Logd service into these 3 EC2 instances. And they're going to be posting messages to CloudWatch Logs on those 3 log groups: Log Secure, Log Nginx, and Messages. We're going to grab those messages from the Secure log group, and we're going to create a log group subscription from Lambda into that, and we're going to use the Boto3 client to post those messages to an SNS topic, which then is going to send an email to our email address. So to start off, let's take a look at our 3 servers. We don't have the AWS Logd service installed, so we're going to use the SSM run shell utility or document to go ahead and install this service across all 3 instances. So let's go ahead and do a yum install AWS logs. And also, because we want this service to start every time the system boots up, we're gonna go ahead and enable the service. Let's execute this. Let's choose all of our 3 servers here. 1, 2, 3, let's go. And let's click on run. It's gonna run very quickly. I'm gonna log into one of these servers, by the way, just to be able to validate that installation happening. So let's go to AWS Logs and let's look at the config file that the service creates for us. It's just a sample that we're actually gonna copy in a second. The service isn't started. I just realized we installed it and we enabled it to start with the system, but we haven't actually started the service. So let's go ahead and fix that real quick. Let's just do a systemctl start AWS logs D. And now we have the service running. Let's go ahead and copy that config file. We're gonna, as we mentioned in the diagram, we're also going to copy or push the secure log and the Nginx logs into CloudWatch logs. Let's go ahead and create new entries for those log files. You can use Puppet, you can use Ansible for this. We're using SSM, you can do it manually, doesn't really matter. I'm just going to take a few seconds to update all these values here. And I got to change messages for Nginx and Secure. So we'll just do that right now. Alright, let's go ahead and run that. And it's going to be executed very quickly. If we refresh the config file, we're going to see the new changes happening there. But we also have to restart the service so that the service can pick up those changes. So let's go ahead and run a service AWS logs the restart. And we'll be able to validate that very quickly. By looking at the AWS log file. There it is, they're secure. And where's Nginx? Okay, this is the John box. This is the Bastion host, so there's no Nginx installed. So let's go ahead and SSH into one of our web servers. Let's just pick this one, copy that IP, switch over to my EC2 user. That's where my private key is. And sure enough, let's check out the log file. We should be able to see an Nginx entry in there, showing us that it's actually replicating those changes. This server is part of a load balancer target group, so it should be getting health checks every so often. So there should be log files under that directory, which we do see there. Okay. So now let's go ahead and check our CloudWatch log groups and see if we have our log groups created for us. We should see all three of them: secure, messages, and Nginx. Sounds good. And I'm just going to go ahead and change the retention settings on this, just because I don't want this. I don't want these messages to exist for for a long time. All right, so now that we've done that, later on we're going to be creating the subscription from Lambda, so there's no metric filter just yet. So let's go over to Lambda. Let's create a brand new Lambda function. I'm just going to call it CloudWatch log mailer, and we're going to choose Python 3.7, and the role is going to be created for us automatically. Okay, and it's also going to create the permissions for us, so we don't have to worry about that. Default role, and there we go. So I'm going to take off this section here that I don't actually need. Let's actually list out all the libraries that we need for this. So the events from CloudWatch Logs are going to come in compressed and encoded, so we need to import gzip and base64, as well as Boto3, which is going to be our method of interacting with SNS. And also let's import OS. All right, so to start off, let's look at what the event actually looks like. We can actually set up a test event, and this will show us what we should expect from CloudWatch Logs. And this is a JSON file, sorry, a JSON text. It's compressed with gzip, and it's encoded with base64. So we need to undo all of that stuff. So I guess we can start by parsing that into JSON. JSON.loads, open brackets, and it's compressed with gzip. So let's do gzip decompress, and then it's also encoded with base64. So let's do b64 decode into that event, and the data is nested under AWS logs and data. So let's put that in and save and test it, and we should be able to see okay, great. Yep, so this is what we expect. This is the decompressed, decoded message from CloudWatch Logs. This here looks better. So from here, we're interested in the log group. We want to get the log stream as well. So let's try to print these two items here. Just put it in a variable so it's easier to work with. And now let's go ahead and try to extract the log group and the log stream. Log stream. Let's go ahead and test it out again just to make sure we're not making any mistakes so far. And I guess we are. Oh, the brackets. Yep. All right, that should be good. So we should be able to see both the log group and the log stream. This is test data, so that's why it says test. All right, cool. So what we really want is the message that's part of the event. Oh, I think we removed that print. So let's add it back real quick. The one with all the details. Yep, so we got those two. So the message that we really want is that one. And that one is inside the log events list. That's list item number 1. So this test event sends 2 log events. but we really only need the first one, that first message there. So let's go ahead and try to print it. Let's do the log events. We're going after the first item on the list, and it's under the message key. Let's run that. And okay, yep, so that's what we want the email to look like. We want the log group, the log stream, and the log message itself. So let's put all these into a variable so that we can later on pass it to our send message SNS function. Right, I don't need these ones. Okay, so let's test out the body variable at this point. We should, yep, okay. So that's exactly what we wanted. So let's go ahead and finish up the, or let's actually, I don't think I've created it. Let's create the function for the email now. Oh, I haven't created the Boto3 client, so let's go ahead and do that real quick. Boto3.client SNS, and now we can go back, finish this up. So we'll be using the publish option here. I'm gonna have to open up documentation for a little bit. So let's look at publish. This is what's gonna allow us to send a message to SNS, and that's an example. So we'll need a topic ARN. We'll also need a message, which is required. I think those are the two minimum parameters that we have to include here. So the topic ARN is going to come from a variable, and the message is going to come from the body variable that we set up just before. Okay, so at this point, we'll just finish it up. Let's pass body, and we should be good. We should be good to save and test, I think. Let's do that. Okay, okay, yeah, the variable. Forgot about the variable. Let's add it real quick. SNS topic ARN, and this is going to come from a topic we haven't actually set up, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's call it, what do we call this thing? Log mailer, I guess. Nothing to do here, and I'll just need to create a new subscription for my email address, which I'm going to validate real quick. Okay, that's done. I'm just going to refresh, and I should be able to see it. It's confirmed. Go back to my Lambda function, copy this ARN real quick first. Go back in here, paste, go, next. And now we should be able to test it successfully. I guess not. Permissions, all right. So the Lambda function needs to be able to post to SNS. We can go to IAM and try to do it ourselves. Yeah, there's only log events, CloudWatch events there. So let's go ahead and add it through this menu. Actually, we can add a destination as if we were going to add a target SNS topic, and this will add the permission automatically for us, so we don't have to meddle with IAM. This will just add the permissions automatically. So let's do this. All right, permission should be granted. Let's go check maybe the role itself. All right. Yep, we refresh. Now we see the Lambda permission there. So let's just remove this target, which we don't need anymore. And we should be able to keep the permissions. Refresh. And log mailer, and then we should be able to, yep, they're both there. So now the only thing we need is add the trigger, which is the subscription to the CloudWatch log group. In this particular case, I'm going to use the secure, and I'm going to, you can use this to filter or match anything you possibly want. There's a lot of use cases for this. In this case, I'm just going to track any activity for the Davo user. I'm going to save and test, and we should be able to get a sample event sent to our email address. Yeah, looks good. Let's check email, refresh. Okay, there it is. So we get the sample message right there. So now let's go ahead and test it from an actual server. So for this, I will need to create a brand new user called Davo, because that's what my filter is. And as soon as I create it, that will trigger a new email. That's a log entry that goes into the secure log file. And I should see a bunch of entries actually. So yeah, 1, 2, 3. There's a bunch of those. So I should get an email for each one of those. Let's go to our mailbox, refresh, and we should be able to see, yep, so that's the user being added. So that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.